Ozonics Killerwinds podcast. Back again. That was a bad drum roll. I'm Cole Tanner.
I'm Nick Simon.
Here we are.
Yep.
Special episode day 111.
Yep.
111, baby.
Yep.
Just ticking them off.
Yep.
One after the next after the next.
111. Triple
one. If we get to the next 1, wow, we will be a bit older.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I can't even do the math on how long that would take.
It would take a while.
We'd have to start doubling up some weeks. We'd have to.
Yes.
Which, I'm going to throw a little teaser out there. We've got a really, how dare you? We're doing a podcast.
Susie has
Unbelievable.
interrupted the
Susie
pod.
is walking in the pod.
Toss it.
Told me
Toss
to
it.
interrupt me because I got a very important package.
So if you're listening, you can't see, but Susie just interrupted the pod. Go ahead and rip her open. This is kind of what we're talking about today. And I was just in the market, ordered a new pair of shoes, baby. Nick's opening them as we speak. He's absolutely ruining the box, so if they don't fit, I can't send them back. I ended up getting some Nike trail running shoes.
Hence,
Get these things off here.
this is perfect
See what
for
we can- see what
this,
we can- see what we can
today's
do here.
episode.
Yeah, here we go. Let's just see.
Let's do a little unboxing.
Oh! It came with a Nike trail sticker that looks super cool.
Let's go.
There might be one little spot on the door
Yes.
perfectly ready for that.
That is sweet.
If they don't fit, I'm keeping that sticker. I feel like pulling shoes out of a box.
Those are sweet.
Those things look pretty sick. This is a little bit to do, but not a lot to do, but a little bit to do. Look at the bottoms. It's got some grip. Dude, I feel like I could wear those as golf shoes.
For sure you could.
100%.
Dude, these are awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Well, this isn't what we plan on talking about, but here we are. Sweet. We'll try those on when the pod's done.
Yep.
Go ahead and stick those off the side. All right. Sorry for the interruption. Sorry for the awkward start. I still think just go with it. A little impromptu there.
Yeah, because that's actually exactly kind of what we're talking about today.
Yep, exactly. So, month of June.
Month of June.
If you're like Nick and I all the time at work, you're always writing the date on stuff. Guess what month it is? 6th month of the year.
Yep.
Halfway through the year. In January, you probably had some New Year's resolutions that you were thinking about. So we're going to talk about mid-year New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
Just be thinking about what you might be doing in June and what you may change in June that can set you up for the next 6 months of the year.
Yep.
Disclaimer before we start. As you can see, me and Nick are incredibly fit.
Yes.
We basically are physical specimens.
Yes.
We do weightlifting competitions. We've been on the cover of Men's Health.
It's just who we are. We don't like the...
Brag about it. Not exactly.
Not exactly. We ain't the most fit people in the
Nope.
entire world.
I think we're just normal.
Yeah.
We're just average Americans. Maybe a little bit on the heavier side than an average American. But you know what? It is what it is.
Yep.
But, so my disclaimer, to be serious though, is we're not sitting here acting like we're like these awesome endurance athletes
Yeah,
or
exactly.
100% know what we're doing and could tell you anything about like, exactly what to eat or not to eat and the macros of what we eat on a day to day, all this and that.
Yeah.
But I think like all of us, we all know how to try to be healthier.
Right.
And it is 6 months of the year, and it is a good time of year to start thinking about what you may be doing for the fall.
Exactly.
Maybe you got a mountain hunt coming up. Maybe you got an elk hunt coming up. Go and do a mule deer hunt. Maybe you just know that you're going to have a real physical deer season where, okay, well, look at us. There's spots that we can't get to like we normally could, even with your bike.
Yeah, definitely.
There's just cornfields shut things in. So all of a sudden, and shut things in for getting stands cut or going out and trimming and everything else. And I know for me, it sucks to have to stop halfway up the hill and sucking eggs, right?
Yeah.
So we're just going to go through some stuff. I don't know I guess you could call it kind of like say mid-year New Year's resolutions, mid-year resolutions just things that we're looking to try to kind of make some adjustments on.
Yes.
And some things that I've done in years past that work for me. Some things that Nick has kind of shed light with me on. And we're just going to talk through it.
Yeah.
And like I said, take it for what it's worth. There's lots of stuff that you can do. We're just going to talk about some stuff that has worked for us and has kind of whipped us into shape.
Yeah.
Okay, so first thing, some of the changes that I'm making, right? I drink a lot of pop.
Yeah.
Yep, drink a lot of pop. A lot of pop ends up meaning a lot of sugar. The sugar I don't think bothers me if I stop. That I don't feel like I feel this big crash from. What I notice is the caffeine headaches.
Yeah.
Initially, I can, grip my teeth through the headaches.
Yeah.
But the last time I quit drinking pop, like towards the beginning of the year, I stopped for a bit, and you had kind of said, you're like, man, dude, in my own my personal life, I'm pushing myself really hard with other things that I've got going on at Ozonics during the day, and then I'm working into the night trying to get some stuff done. And so caffeine kind of keeps me going.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially in the mornings, kind of get me back up and get me up going again. And you kind of had made the comment, you're like, man, dude, like, take it for what it's worth. Just a little constructive criticism. You're not doing good without caffeine.
Yeah.
He's like, you're not doing good. You don't look good.
Yeah.
You're not acting good. You just need to think about doing something. And the problem is I always think caffeine, I think pop, I think Starbucks coffee or iced chai or things like that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Like, gosh, and those things aren't really that good for you. I'm like, how am I going to have caffeine and bridge that gap?
Yeah.
And that's where Nick shed some light on mountain hops.
Yes.
And I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, so I was kind of in the same boat. I found myself drinking a lot of like those like zero sugar monsters.
Yes.
If I had coffee, I'd put creamer in it, and it helped me stay awake, but it just kind of made me feel kind of gross midday, stomach wise. I don't know, it just didn't make me feel very good. And so I've been running Mountain Ops Ignite for quite a while now, on and off. I'd say probably for close to 2 years.
Yeah.
But I still sometimes get into the monster type stuff.
Yeah, you had a monster the other day.
Yeah.
But it's kind of more of like a snack special type of thing.
Yeah, like if I stop and grab gas or something and I didn't whip one of these up in the morning or make coffee or something, then I'll just, if I know I'm stopping, I'll just run in and grab it.
Yep.
But this stuff has been a game changer for me. It's helped me a lot. It just makes me feel better throughout the day, and you're still getting that caffeine. Another thing I'd switch to is I just really made it a point to not use creamer anymore in my coffee, and that has helped a ton. So I think the creamer was what was causing the issues before. But not gonna lie, for coffee drinkers out there, if you start off on creamer, it can be kind of a weird transition.
Just to drinking just black.
It took me like probably 2 to 3 days to get used to it, but now that's like the only way I drink coffee, and that has made me feel a ton better.
Yeah.
And save a lot of money doing that way too.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, like I said, I love Starbucks or whatever the coffee shop may be, but man, if you drive through there or walk in the door, you better be ready to drop $5-10.
Yeah, easily, for sure.
Yeah. The thing that I was going to say that, what I've done in years past, usually in May and June, is I cut out all caffeine.
Yeah.
Just for the fact that I go to Alaska in August and I don't want to have those headaches when I drop the caffeine out.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny. I don't know how to say this. I guess I was just kind of ignorance is bliss, I guess. So I just was like, well, I was taking Mountain Ops. I was taking Mountain Ops Ignite. Well, a couple years back, I go up to Alaska and they have these little travel packs, these little travel ones. It's like a single serve. A scoop is 16 ounces.
Yeah.
That's what the little single serve is. Well, I would put 2 of those in a 32-ounce water. And then what I would do during the day is I would start sipping on it in the morning. And if I got halfway down in the bottle, I just fill it back up with more water and I kind of drink it diluted. Does that make sense? Well, I started calling it go-go juice because, man, you start drinking that and you're like, here we go, baby.
Yeah.
And part of it was because I had gone months without caffeine. And then all of a sudden I introduce it back to myself.
Yeah.
when I'm already a bit depleted, and then I start drinking this go-go juice, and it was just like, it really gave me a zing.
Yeah, for sure.
The thing I noticed, even in those situations, which probably wasn't the perfect way to do it, it's kind of like an extreme case. You know what I'm saying? Where I just go from nothing to like whatever, a couple 100 milligrams or whatever it is of caffeine.
Yeah.
Isn't it? That's about what it is.
I think it's 200 milligrams per scoop.
Okay. So yeah, so I had that's a
think.
good chunk of caffeine.
It should say on here somewhere, but
But the interesting thing is even in that situation, I don't felt like I had the crash.
yeah.
It definitely kind of felt like it lifted me up, but I didn't feel like I crashed back down.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep. Yes, 200 milligrams of caffeine per serving.
Okay.
Which is 1 scoop.
Okay. And one serving is for 16 ounces
16
of water.
ounces, yep.
Yep. So, but this is kind of what Nick has turned me on to kind of bridge that gap.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm in the process right now of really getting off the caffeine, and this is really going to be my go-to.
Yeah.
The one thing I'll say that I have noticed about it that I didn't realize when I started kind of drinking this more is like when we were drinking it during the winter at the shows,
Yeah.
you kind of have to have like a dedicated bottle.
Yeah.
Because once you put it in that bottle, I've tried to kind of like rinse it out, and you kind of can still taste a little bit of it
you
in there.
definitely can.
I noticed too, like I really enjoy sweet stuff, really, really like sweet flavored
Yeah.
drinks. That's even like as we're sitting here, I've got, and we'll talk about this a little bit later too, Propel water.
Yeah.
I drink a lot of Propel water.
Yeah, you do.
I like it because it's got a sweet taste. I really enjoy that. What I was talking about now. I really enjoy the black cherry.
Yeah.
It's water with just like a little bit of flavoring in it.
Yeah.
It's got some electrolytes. I don't feel like I noticed the electrolyte part, but I enjoy the sweet flavor.
Yeah.
And because I have a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
And that's what this does to me too, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why I really like this Mountain Op stuff. Man, sometimes we've gone into Shields, we've gone into different places. Gosh, it's hard to decide which one to buy.
I know,
They've
there's
got
a
so
lot.
many options. You know when you're a kid and they had those, maybe you were too young for this, but when I was a kid, they had these markers. And all the markers smelled
Oh, yeah.
a
I
different
remember
smell,
that.
blue and red and purple and green.
Yep.
And you know, you were coloring them, but kind of the fun part was like smelling them because they all had like a really unique smell.
Yep.
Gosh, I wish there was a way that you could taste test
For sure.
these when you're in a retail shop. That's one thing that's always really fun when we go to the consumer shows. Is Mountain Ops has been going to a lot of shows, and we would always walk up, and they would always have some of their new flavors.
Yeah.
And me and Nick
For
were like,
sample.
oh man, we were mosquitoes on the bug zapper. We come
Yeah.
right over to it. Hey man, and we were wanting to test them out just so we could see if we liked it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because sometimes you have to buy the whole thing to go. I did that with that. What was that? It's like red candy or some candy flavored one.
Oh, yeah. Did you try that?
No, I haven't opened it yet. I just literally funny that we talked about this. I just picked that up.
Yeah.
Because Tatum's talked about trying to
Yeah.
kind of wean off.
Heck yeah.
And I said, hey, you ought to try this Mountain Op stuff. And she, I'm like, it's like a candy flavor.
Yeah, we've got a different flavor than that we haven't tried yet.
Yes, and that's kind of what we were doing, right?
Yeah.
Well, like, and that's the thing that's nice for us here at work is we kind of got to go back and forth. Like, you'll buy a container, we'll both drink
Yeah,
out of
yeah,
it, and I'll
yeah.
buy one, and then we just kind of able to do a wild card, and we bought a new flavor
Yep.
to see if we'll like it.
Yep. Right now, my favorite flavor is the blue raspberry lemonade.
Yes, that is really good.
I really like that one. And then this is a good kind of switch up. This is a sweet tea lemonade. I love tea. Cole is not the biggest tea fan, but this is a really good little palate cleanse.
Yeah.
It's good.
I'll tell
like
you
it.
what I do when I go to Alaska. I'm sorry to interrupt
No,
you.
you're good.
The go-to travel ones that I like the Tiger's Blood, or like the pink lemonade because it tastes so much different than that.
Yep.
Or they also have a bugleberry
Yep.
that tastes a lot like Tiger's Blood. But then if I get, and I'm really trying to switch it up because you drink it for day after day after day after
Yeah.
day, like when I'm up there, you kind of just have what you have in your pack. Sometimes I'll make a Tiger's Blood and a bugleberry,
Mix them.
or a Tiger's Blood and a lemonade.
Yeah. See, I
So I'll
started
mix them
off
up a little bit here and there.
I started off on the bugleberry, I believe,
Yeah.
and I just drank that one too much.
Yeah, and that's I guess what I'm trying to say. Not that I don't think they taste good, but I think sometimes you can like
Yeah,
it's like listening to the song too many times.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, my big kind of guilty pleasure is Diet Mountain Dew,
Yep.
and I've been trying to wean off of that a lot more. I feel like I've been doing better at that, like during work hours.
Yeah.
I would always just be sipping on one during work, but I've kind of cut that out. Now I only have it like at dinner and stuff like that, and of course if we go out to eat somewhere. But
Yeah. One thing kudos to you. You have I think that I have self-control. Like if I really set my mind to something, and Susie will say that, she goes, yeah, when you really get your mind made up, you get your mind made up.
Yeah.
It's just like the saying, nothing changes until something changes. But one thing I've noticed with that you do, just to exactly your point, if we go out for lunch or we go out for supper or whatever that is, when we're out on the road, it's pretty easy to get like and this is a big thing in the South, like a to-go cup.
Yeah.
Not a lot of places in the Midwest like offer you that, but if you're at a McDonald's or you're at somewhere, you already have a cup.
Yeah.
And so I inherently walk up to the fountain pop machine and fill it up before we leave.
Yeah.
So I get an extra whatever it is. You don't do that.
No.
You'll drink what you drink at lunch and then you throw it away.
Yeah.
And that's such a good thing because it's easy to just keep sipping.
Yeah.
But if you throw it away, you can't have it.
Yeah.
Years ago, I did this big weight loss deal and I lost like 60 pounds in just under 6 months. I was really on this kick. And that was one of the things that I did a lot of times is when I would eat lunch here, I knew I was really putting myself at a calorie deficit. So, but man, if it was in front of me, I would eat it.
Yeah.
So then I would just tell Susie, I'm like, just take this away. Like, please just take it away. Like if
yeah.
it's not sitting here, I won't eat it. But if it's sitting there,
Right.
it's just, you're putting yourself through the torture of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like you said, this Mountain Ops, the Ignite, they've got a ton of different kind of variations of different things that do have caffeine, don't have caffeine. I don't even know all of it. There's a lot.
The one that I tried it's called the Enduro.
Yeah, that's what
And
I was just thinking of too.
It's basically non-caffeinated energy, and oh my gosh. I don't know if I was like kind of using that as like a replacement of like my morning caffeine. I don't know if maybe it's more so you take it like before you work out maybe or something, but my gosh, it made me feel weird.
Oh, really? Like almost like jittery?
Like really jittery, just like, it was like almost too much. I don't know if it was just because it's like not actually caffeine, but it made me feel way different than just having like a caffeinated drink.
Well, so there was one day I was here. You remember that day?
Mm-hmm.
I did the Mountain Ops Ignite, and I just didn't even I kind of was like, just grabbed it and scooped it, and then another scoop, and maybe the other second scoop was like a heaping scoop.
Yeah.
And I was kind of thirsty, so I kind of like
Slugged it down.
slugged some of it down.
Yeah.
And oh baby, I could definitely tell. All of a sudden, I'm like, yeah, I can't sit on my desk.
Yeah,
I'm like walking around, and you
Yeah.
were like, geez, what is your deal? I'm like, man, I am hyped up right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa. Well, yes, this really hit me right now.
Yeah.
You know,
for sure.
But yeah, like you said, it's just one of those things where it's good to get off some of those sugary drinks, right?
Yeah,
I think
sure.
we all see it, right? You go to a gas station, there's like an entire like wall of them, of doors that you can open, grab stuff, fountain drinks as far as the eye can see. So it's easy to do.
Yeah, for sure.
And I know for me, like everybody, we're all busy. I run pretty wide open.
Yeah.
And so I get run down. And so that's kind of where that's my 1,000-foot crush of an excuse of why I lean on sugary drinks and stuff, which is not a good idea.
Yeah.
And so this is something that is a good alternative.
Yeah, and I like it too just because there is no sugar. I can't have the sugar.
Yes,
drinks.
exactly. With
With
being a
the-
type 1 diabetic, that's a tricky thing for you.
Yeah, so I never have sugar drinks regardless, but I sometimes think that the Diet Pop is probably just as bad.
With the aspartame and all that stuff.
And I mean,
Yeah.
But yeah, this is really nice. Doesn't affect my blood sugar at all, so I'm good to go to drink it and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's been awesome.
Yep. Nope. Absolutely. Yeah. So like you said, that's kind of the first thing I think we're both trying to do a better job of is just kind of cutting out sugary drinks.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to, and that's kind of a big choice that I'm making going into this year for Alaska is that usually that I wean completely off and then I wait to don't do this until I get there.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to, but one thing I also am going to do moving into just as we move forward is try to stop my like caffeine intake earlier in the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make
for
sense?
Sure, for sure.
I've just been seeing some things and watching and listening to things talking about trying to stop caffeine around noon. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
This isn't one thing I don't think that I'll be able to work on, but I'm going to mention it. I know I don't get enough sleep. Dude,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't sleep.
Yeah.
You
don't sleep at all.
I don't sleep much at all. And that's not doing me any favors.
No.
I mean, I don't sleep at all. I mean, I sleep. I'm not an insomniac, but I don't sleep much.
No, you don't sleep near enough, I don't think.
No.
Especially right now. I mean, I feel like, like when I first started here and stuff, I mean, you definitely slept more, I feel like, but just in the recent
What's
year.
going on?
Yeah. It's
The
just
last
been
year.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is what I do is what I've done in the past is I'll drink fountain drink or a pop at night, and that'll be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Where if I'm still working, that I'll be drinking pop, and it just keeps me going. And I can definitely tell when it wears off.
Yeah, for sure.
I saw that I don't keep going. I'm just kind of grinding the gears, you know.
For sure.
But so I need to do a better job of that. I don't think that that's going to happen anytime soon. Just being honest.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yep. But the other two kind of big things that I really like that I've really started doing and I really like. One thing I've done for a long time is I love to run. Nick got such a kick out of me last year. I was running, less than I'm running now, but I got back into it and I started running, and I enjoy distance running. So it's hard for me to only go out and go on like a couple mile run. I'm not good at running. Don't think that I'm saying that like it's not hard for me to go farther. It is hard for me to go farther, but I enjoy the challenge.
Right.
And so it's like I find myself quickly all of a sudden be like, oh, well, let's go 2 miles, then it's 4 miles, then it's 6 miles, then it's 8 miles,
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm, having you pick me up because I don't want to do an out and back. I just want to go out and see how far I can get.
Yeah.
And I enjoy running. One thing for me, like I said, I did, and I don't mean this in a braggadocious way. I did it. And I'm proud of it, I guess.
Yeah.
I did an ultra marathon a few years ago just for myself. It wasn't like a sanctioned event or anything. I did Grandma's marathon, but I did it as like almost like a double.
Yeah.
Well, it was a double. I ran from the finish line to the start line, 10 miles past the start line, then back, or finished to the start, 5 miles past and back to the start. So it was an extra 10, then another marathon back, 60 some miles or whatever. And one thing that I really learned in all that running was, and what worked for me as well, trying to get in better shape and losing weight is what I'm trying to do now, I think for both of us going into this mid-year resolution is losing some weight. And it was aerobic exercise rather than anaerobic exercise, kind of meaning aerobic exercise from what I understand. And again, I'm not a physical trainer or whatever. So if I say this wrong, I apologize in advance.
Yep.
Aerobic exercise, meaning where you can still hold a conversation.
Yeah.
If you can't hold a conversation, you're going too hard.
Yeah.
Type thing. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Low and slow burn. Does that make sense? Even just flat out walking, just an aerobic exercise. An anaerobic exercise would be a 100-meter dash.
Yeah.
Where one, you can't talk while you're doing it, and you definitely can't talk when you get done. Well, I think what we all do is we all unintentionally, because we all push ourselves too hard too fast, we get into the anaerobic pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Aerobic is lower heart rate. Like if there's like 5 zones, level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of your heart, right? Like your heart rate zones of what your heart is beating at. Aerobic exercise is really like zone 1 and 2, anaerobic 3, 4, 5. 5 being I'm going to pass out or die.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I really enjoy, and it feels like it's worked better for me, really trying to stick with that aerobic exercise. I say all that to say, when I first started getting more serious about running farther, in my head, I thought, oh, I'm going to just run constantly. Like, oh man, it's so crazy to think I'm going to run 60 miles nonstop. That is not how it works. It is for some people.
Yeah.
I follow guys on Instagram that I'm like, man, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Like, that is awesome that you can go out and do that. Man, I wish I'm not that athlete.
Yeah.
For me, running is like a walk, running, walk, run, walk, run, walk, run. It's about the accomplishment. It's about finishing. I'm not breaking any world records.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And so I do that to try to keep myself in that low heart rate, low impact, and go low and slow. I go a lot longer, farther. I'm not getting there very fast.
Yeah.
And so then I do a lot of walking, running. When I start to feel myself kind of going too fast, or I can't hold a conversation, all of a sudden I'm really kind of running myself down. I'll stop and walk, slow my heart rate down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then start back up again.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So whether that's right or wrong, that's how I've done distance running in the past, and again, part of me, I think for what I enjoy about running and running in that kind of an aerobic way, feels a lot like when you're out hiking. It feels a lot like Alaska for me. It's not that there's not times when we're like, oh my gosh, we got to get to the top of that hill right now. Here we go. And then you downshift into anaerobic really fast. But for the most part, it's just a war of attrition.
Yeah, exactly.
You just got to keep putting one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
You just got to keep moving. You can hold a conversation. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about, but we just got to keep moving.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep. No, for sure.
That's a lot of what I feel like hunting fitness is for most people. That's not everybody.
Yeah.
There is the other extreme as well.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
But that's, so like you said, I enjoy running.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I'll tell you, if you've never been a runner, one of the other things that I learned about running is when you first start running, I call it pulling the plow. You're going to pull the plow for like a month.
Yeah.
You're going to pull plow for a while. You're going to go out and you're going to go, what the heck am I doing? This sucks. I'm not getting anywhere. I don't feel any better. I feel worse. Now I'm sore.
Yeah.
But you just got to get back out there and keep at it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, one day, you're just going to feel the plow come unhitch behind you, and you're going to just feel that little bit of a step faster.
Yeah.
And you're going to get back and you're like, no, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel like I'm going to die,
Yeah.
And it takes a bit.
Yeah, no doubt.
When I did that ultra marathon, actually one of the guys I work with here at Ozonics did the marathon that year, and he started running, and I told him, I said, hey man, you're going to pull the plow for a while.
Yeah.
I said, I'm just warning you, just don't give up.
Yeah.
And week after week, he called me and go, well, I still got the plow. And then one day he called me and said, hey man, just what you said. It goes, I just felt it. I got out there and it was like his long run for the week, it was like maybe towards the beginning of the work. So it was like a 6-mile run. And he's like, man, yeah, dude, I got like 3 miles in, got to mile number 4. And all of a sudden I just felt like I wasn't dying.
Yeah.
Felt like I wasn't still having to go up the hill. I was rolling down the other side of the hill. All of a sudden I felt a little skip in my step. I didn't feel so run down. I'm like, yeah, man, that's it.
Yeah.
And now you make progress, you know?
Exactly.
So I don't know. Take that for what it's worth.
Yeah. That's definitely my goal. Me and Cole have been talking a little bit about this is, with my situation and the diabetes and stuff, I try not to make that an excuse, but you still got to do things really smart. Big thing for me is for sure sleep.
It's not an excuse. It's your reality.
Well, I know. But I need a good amount of sleep. Otherwise my day is totally screwed. But, my plan is to start getting up earlier and just going for a walk and or a run in the morning. And my goal is I would really like to get to a point this summer where I'm doing 3 miles a day. That's my goal to get to. Might take longer than a normal person just because I'm going to have low blood sugars. That's just kind of the nature of the beast.
Yep.
But I think for me, it's more of a mental thing more than a physical thing. I just feel like throughout the summer, I just need to do something that it's a battle between me and myself. Just keep that discipline. I just think that's going to improve a lot of things throughout hunting season and just daily life. So that's my goal for the summer.
Well, and I think that's what's fun for both of us. I think that I know you inspire me, you know what I mean, to be more motivated. And I feel like you doing that helps me motivate to do and keeps me more accountable and vice versa.
Yeah.
And so, but I think what you said right there, and you had said this to me before, is what really I think resonates for me.
Yeah.
Again, like for the both of us, our lives revolve around hunting.
Yeah.
You know, like we said, I think we talked about this last week, the week before. You talk about different hobbies and you think, okay, well, do I think about hunting when I'm doing that? Or do I think about hunting when I'm doing that? It's always whatever I'm doing, I think about hunting. When I'm hunting, I'm not thinking about the other thing.
No, yeah, exactly.
And so even like this, working out and getting back in shape, it's always with the idea of hunting.
Yeah.
But I think what you said right there, I say that to say what you said a minute ago is so right on in the fact of it is such a mental thing.
Yeah.
What you said, it's not even as much about the fact about the physical. It's just about the getting up and doing something that maybe I don't want to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Again, everybody knows who David Goggins is. I feel like that would be a really interesting guy to meet.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to his I think he has a second book out now. I've just read the first one. I've listened to it a couple times for whatever that means. But when I was running a lot, I'd listen to it.
Yeah.
And then I just listened to it again. But he didn't enjoy running. He doesn't enjoy running.
Yeah, exactly.
But he enjoys, like, he knows, he's like, I'm going to get up today every day. I'm going to do something I don't want to do.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you're describing.
Yeah.
That can be hunting season. I'll tell you what, there is such a mental preparation side
Yes.
of hunting. There's such a mental aspect of hunting that I think, again, maybe it gets talked about. I don't hear it being talked about. Just the fact that, like, and man, we could go off the deep end of stories that that I've told you about, that I've seen guys go on trips and quit.
Mm-hmm.
Not quit because physically they couldn't do it. Quit because mentally they were not prepared.
Completely checked out.
Yep, they were out.
Yeah.
They were mentally, they were afraid, they were scared, they were cold, they were out.
Yeah.
And the minute that they knew they were safe again, they were fine.
Yeah.
But they were checked out.
Yeah.
Mentally not there.
Yeah.
I think that's because of, not entirely the reason, but partly because they hadn't prepared themselves mentally for that.
Yeah.
They hadn't said, you know what, I'm going to get up today and I'm going to do this, even though I really want to sleep.
Yeah.
Years ago, my wife, I was so against it when we got it, and now it's like the best thing ever. She bought one of those Tempur-Pedic beds.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We have a Tempur-Pedic bed. You want to talk about the nicest thing ever? Dude, I call it quicksand, because you lay down on that thing and you are out.
Yeah.
Good luck getting up in the morning. Dude, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's so comfortable.
Yeah.
But you got to get up anyway.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, you got to know, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do this. I want to lay in bed.
Yeah.
It's warm. It's nice. But you got to get up anyway.
Yeah.
Whether it's raining, whether it's sunny outside, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, it's snowing, you got to do it. Because guess what? When you're out there hunting, you just got to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's such a mental aspect of it.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, the other encompassing thing for the both of us is just always working on that mental side of things.
Because I think about, the fall and the spring with turkey season. I'd be lying if I said I'm jumping out of bed every single morning when I
Exactly.
go hunting. I'm not. There's a lot of days where I'm like, God dang it, I would love to just stay in bed and just sleep for a little while. But I feel like that whole mindset would change and the mornings would be a lot easier if you're on a schedule of doing something that sucks every morning. Because then you're going to be looking forward, tomorrow I'm not going to go and run. I'm going to get up and go spend it in the stand.
Yes.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
What's better than that?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. And again, I feel like I'm saying this a lot, and I feel like we're talking about ourselves a lot.
Yeah.
And neither of us are trying to do this in a braggadocious way.
Yeah.
So if it comes off that way, we're sorry.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say to that too is, like, I feel like if there was a scale of like mental preparation and physical preparation, I feel like I'm always way better on the mental preparation than the physical preparation. Even like what I've been doing, we keep beating around the bush. I can just talk about it. I've been working on this house, right?
Yeah.
My wife and I are going to be moving to like a farm place.
Yeah.
I've been working on it now for 16 months.
Yeah.
Nick knows how much time it's been.
It's been a lot.
I mean, I'll be at Ozonics all day and then get off work at 4:30, and then it's go home, quick see the kids, drive a half hour to where the farm is, and then work generally 7 o'clock at night till usually midnight to 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Go home, take a shower, go to bed, get up at 7, do it over again.
Yeah.
So very little sleep. And there are more days than I can remember that it'll be 8 o'clock at night and I've been there for a few hours, or 10 or 11. And I'm like, I'm at a good stopping point.
Yeah.
I can just go home. Like, I'm tired. The farm we have drinking water, but I don't have it hooked up yet. So a lot of times I have to bring stuff with me, and I bring a couple snacks. Well, I run out of my snacks and I run out of my water, and then I'm sitting there, and town is 10 minutes away at the closest. So it's like, God, it's 11 o'clock. I just want to go home. Like, I don't want to dive into that yet. But then I sit down for a little bit. I kind of just like, okay, just relax. And then I do it anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's just a mental thing.
Yeah.
And so I think I say all that to say, like, figuring out ways to create that mental toughness and grow that mental fortitude and toughness doesn't have to just be hunting.
No.
It can be in your day-to-day. I mean, even, our cell phones. I mean, I hate to say it. We're doing a podcast that you're probably listening to on your cell phone. So please don't just turn it off now because I say this.
Yeah.
But not getting on your phone and scrolling on social media so much.
Sure.
that can be a mental grind just to say,
no
okay,
doubt.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to look at my phone.
Yeah.
I'm not going to look at my phone until 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm not going to look at my phone during lunch.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm not going to look at my phone when I get home and I'm trying to spend time with my kids. You know, I'm going to put my phone in the room. I'm going to put it in my pocket. I'm going to be present.
Yeah.
There's lots of ways that you can try to, you know, grow that mental toughness.
Yeah, for
and I
sure.
think it really makes a difference when it comes to when you get into the hunting season.
Oh yeah.
Because things don't always go as planned. You're going to get tired. You're going to get worn down. You're going to want to quit.
Yeah.
That's how we all are.
Yeah. One of the things I want to talk about, which has been kind of on our minds a lot, is the stinking watch.
Oh, yeah.
This thing has been awesome. So it's a
Garmin.
Garmin Instinct 2X Tactical Solar.
I know it's a mouthful.
Kind of a mouthful.
But really, it's a Garmin 2X Solar.
Yeah.
And then it has the tactical, which basically gives it some ballistics that you can do with it
Yes.
if you want to. But
Yep.
it's a Garmin 2X watch.
Instinct, yeah.
Instinct
whatever.
watch,
Instinct watch, whatever. Just to preface this was Cole's watch. And then I was kind of in the mark for a watch because I ordered an Apple Watch. Wasn't a huge fan of it, just with the touch screen, and there was just a bunch of stuff that I didn't use on it.
Wasn't
and
necessary for you.
just wasn't necessary for what I was using. So Cole's like, "Hey, you should just try my Garmin watch." So I tried it, and I have been wearing it now for
11
8 months.
You wore it as soon as I got back.
Yep.
So it's been almost a year.
It's been close to a year.
Well, here's the backstory to it too. I had always just taken like an old janky watch up into Alaska, and I would always put a new battery in right before I left, so
Yeah.
I never would have to worry about it.
Yeah.
It was a Sunto Core watch. I shouldn't say it was an old janky watch. It was a new watch a long time ago, and I wore it until it was black. It was silver because it had worn off all the paint on the aluminum on the front of it. It was old. It just had its better day. Screen was so scratched up it was hard to see.
Yeah.
But I always put a new battery before I left, and it had an altimeter in it. And I would always just calibrate the altimeter to my GPS, and then you could do little tracks on it where it would show you your elevation up, your rise and fall, and show you how many steps you went.
Yeah.
It was from like the mid or like 2010 or something.
Yeah,
So it was
yeah.
a while ago. It had really, I think I still have it. A big Suto will be like really probably interested to see it because it is worn.
Yeah.
I've gone through how many bands on it.
Yeah.
The bands only last so long. And then 1 year the band broke when I was there and then I couldn't even wear it. I had to like attach to my pack. Anyway, so I was in the market for a watch. So I did all this research and I kind of wanted a Garmin watch. A couple of the other guys up there wore Garmin watches. Well, they had solar on them.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of interesting because I don't know the exact word for it. It's like nano something, or I don't even know. It's kind of there's some word for solar energy.
Yeah.
It takes 50,000 of these, whatever, you can put the word here when we figure it out.
Yeah.
Let's just call them nanometers.
Yeah.
That's not what it is. Newtons.
Kilowatts?
No, maybe. That seems kilowatts like really big, I'm pretty sure. Calories.
Yeah. Something.
Electrolytes.
Yeah.
Proteins. Now we're just saying things. No, but it takes 50,000 of those to add 1% battery. Well, there'd be times you could get 3 or 4% battery in a day.
No doubt.
I mean, it's really, really interesting. So I was like, well, heck, that's kind of nice. And it's got all these different battery settings. It'll show you run for like 38 days.
Yeah, right now I have 38 days left on this charge.
Exactly. It shows you. Yeah. So you can connect to your GPS. You can get your inReach messages right on. I'm like, man, it's got an altimeter. You can do all this cool stuff. I'm like, man, this thing's pretty cool. So I ended up getting it, and I wore it for Alaska. Well, the minute I got it, you were jonesing on it from the first second.
I had kind of been looking at watches, and Garmin was one that I was really looking at because I really wanted one that didn't have touchscreen. Just because it's like, again, I was never ever using it, and then it just ended up me not even wearing it just because I'm like, this thing's just kind of a waste.
Yeah.
And so when I saw this wasn't a touchscreen, all the battery life it had, because like that's another thing. Like if I go home to Wisconsin, I'd have to bring a charger for the Apple Watch, charge it every night. Now I charge it like once a month maybe, and
isn't that something?
It's just been awesome. and it tracks the sleep. That thing, I've been super interested in seeing how much I sleep, just because all diabetics are different, but with me, I get a lot of lows in the middle of the night. And so I was always interested in it. 100% affects how much I sleep for sure after looking at the numbers of this. But I mean, it is so rock solid on knowing when you're awake and when you're not. Like there'll be times I'll get a low blood sugar and I'll look at the thing and it'll be like 215. And then when you look at the app, it literally says 2:12, you were up from 2:12 until 2:45 a.m. And it's just exactly when I was up trying to deal with the low blood sugar. So like sometimes I've read some things saying like, well, what can you actually believe with this stuff? But like when you have that like concise evidence that it's actually like really tracking it that close, I mean, you got to think that it's working pretty dang good.
Yeah.
But yeah, this thing has been awesome. And obviously once I start running, I'm going to be using this for running too. So I'm interested to see how that works. But if you're in the market for anything, a Garmin watch is just money.
Well, here's the other thing that's really cool about this that I think when I was looking at it, I didn't really realize, not only does it do all the stuff that the Garmin Instinct 2X watch will do, but Garmin has all these other types of watches, and that technology can be used in this watch too. For example, we've mentioned this a lot lately because it's summertime and we're doing it because we can't do much hunting at all.
Yeah.
Golfing.
Yeah.
You can track
Yeah.
your golf shots on that. You
Yeah.
can see what hole you're on. You can see how long far your drive was. It'll show you like the front, middle edge of the green, all this crazy. When you showed that, then I was like, that doesn't do that. He said, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Watch this. I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah, you can download courses onto it.
Yeah.
And that, I will say this, when you use that, where like it's tracking you via GPS, it does burn through the battery quicker,
Yes.
obviously. But I mean, I still haven't had to charge it like at all. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's just a bunch of stuff that you can do with it. It works with my Dexcom stuff, which is what reads my blood sugar all the time.
That's the one. That's the really big one.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of times, like, say you're up in a stand and you get a notification on your phone, you just feel your phone buzz. Well, it can be kind of a lot to pull out your phone and see what the notification was. This here, boom. Oh, it's because I have a high blood sugar. Dial everything in. It's a freaking game changer.
It's
man.
right. It's so nice because it's right there. You don't have to, like I said, try to dig it out.
Yeah.
And like I said, with the running stuff too, like that doesn't seem like this watch is for exactly,
Yeah.
but it does all that on there.
Yeah, it'll all be on there.
Yeah. And like you said, when you start doing some of those other types of features, then it will drain battery. Even like that's one thing that I don't do a lot when I take it to Alaska is you can set waypoints.
Yeah.
You can do a track for the day or see how far you've gone or the distance you've gone up and down.
That really,
The whole time that will drain
that
battery.
really tanks it.
One of the guys up there, he did that the whole time.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, dude. From the minute he got out of the plane to the minute he got back, he was like start.
Wow.
And it showed, it was insane. It was way more than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Of his elevation gain up and down.
Oh, I bet.
How many steps, how many miles. It was
Yeah.
crazy. But he was having to plug it in at night
Yeah.
to make sure he could get a charge on it.
No,
Because
same.
it would definitely take it down. But you can, and that's the other thing too, you can turn features on and off.
Yeah.
So let's say you wanted to do like a waypoint tracking, but you didn't want the heart rate monitor to be working.
Yeah, yeah.
And a lot of that other stuff, you didn't want the notifications turned on where it's trying to ping off the Bluetooth. You can shut that down and just run what
Save
you
a little
want
bit of
to try to
juice.
save juice that way.
The one thing that burns it the quickest is this right here.
Oh, that's the other thing. Yeah. It's got they call it the torch.
Yeah, see, look at this. As soon as I did that, 7 hours left on battery.
Right.
Let me turn it off. 38 days.
Yeah. Yeah. Which initially too, I thought, I'm like, why do I need a little light on there? But it actually comes in handy.
Oh my gosh. Again, I'm trying not to talk about diabetes a lot, but in the middle of the night, when you have a low blood sugar and you're looking for some sugar, toss that sugar on. Oh, there it is right there. Boop.
Exactly.
Game changer.
Yeah, you're sitting in a tent and you roll over and you're like, where's
My water?
Where's anything that I need? Because I've got stuff strung everywhere and I'm probably laying on it.
Yeah.
Like,
Boom.
there you go.
Yeah, it's just sweet. I
Yeah.
absolutely loved it. So
And it has white and it has red. And it has green.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can do different colors.
Yep.
So like I said, if you're in a situation when we're walking out hunting, I don't like to use white lights.
Yeah.
Red doesn't ruin the night vision on your eyes. Just make sure it's on the red.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of cool too.
Yeah. So I know that was kind of a tangent, but it's kind of on the lines of what we're talking about. These things are awesome.
Yeah.
They're just great.
Yep. So I'm going to go through. So we've talked about running. and I really enjoy running. That's kind of always been my real go-to
Yeah.
on trying to whip myself back into shape. And I'm going to kind of go through the evolution, and we'll get to the third one here in a second. The second one that I started doing a few years ago is I started using a weighted pack.
Yeah.
It's actually by a company called Outdoorsman, and it's called their Atlas frame system.
Yeah.
So, or their Atlas pack, I guess is what I call it. So the idea behind it is it's a framed pack that has a, what would you call it? Like,
It's like the end of a barbell.
yes, like the end of a bench press,
Yeah.
like bar.
Yeah.
That you can put a big any pound 45, 25, 10, 5 plate
Yeah.
that you would see at a gym that you can put on there.
Yeah.
And you can put up to two 45-pound plates on it. So you put 90 pounds on the pack.
Yeah.
And then it's got a hip belt and the whole shebang. And so I looked at him and looked at him, like, you know what? I'm going to do it. So I bought one, and it's actually been really, really fun.
Yeah.
Like you said, the evolution of this conversation will get me to the end here, but I've never been a big gym guy.
Yeah.
I think what we talked about earlier about that mental aspect is what I think some people really enjoy about the gym.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to get up and go.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard to go. Oh, I got to get on my junk on. I got to get a drive there, blah, 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 blah. Maybe you're not a people person. Maybe you don't like to be around a bunch of other people. There's a bunch of people in there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like whatever it might be. You just like being by yourself. You don't want to be bothered, but there's other people there. Oh, do I get to use the equipment I want? It all wears you down. So I think guys men and women that go to a gym, some of it is a big mental game.
Oh, for
can
sure.
you have the fortitude to do it day after day and start to see those gains?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Sometimes it goes good, sometimes it doesn't. So
Yeah.
I think it's as mental a game as everything we're describing. But I've never been a big gym guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never spent the time to learn how to do it. Instead of like work out when I was a kid and
Yeah.
in school and stuff, like in high school and even like in my 20s. But a gym was just, I'm like, man, I just hate being inside. I'm like
Yeah.
looking outside where I would rather be. I'd rather like go and run outside.
Yeah.
Even in the middle of the winter and it's raining. I don't care. I'd rather be out there than in here.
Yeah, exactly.
So gyms never really fit for me. But the thing is I like the idea of this Atlas pack being I just went and bought a couple 45s,
Yeah.
pound plates, and then I could do whatever I wanted.
Right.
You know, again, we don't have a lot of hills here, but even just putting a bunch of weight on it and just going out and hiking, just walking down a gravel road, walking down the side of the road on the blacktop, you know what I mean? And just putting miles in.
Yeah, for sure.
So, you know, sometimes I think a lot like running, hiking, you've kind of got to get your body a little bit used to the pounding.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
That's such an adjustment.
Yeah.
You know, like just the feel of it. Like, how does the weight feel on my back? How does my back feel? How do my feet feel? How are my feet reacting
Yeah.
to having an extra 90 pounds pushing down on me on every
Yeah,
step?
no doubt. Yeah.
You know, all of a sudden you realize like, okay, I'm getting blisters, I'm getting hot spots. You're not going to know that unless you get out there and do that.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, yeah, like I said, I bought that Atlas trainer pack and I really liked it.
Yeah.
There's other options that you can do too. I mean, you can you could just go buy a sandbag.
Yeah.
You can buy anything. Just go buy a weighted sandbag at like the hardware store, put it in a new bag, and now you've got and you can weigh it
There
so you
you
got
go.
whatever you want. Put it in your existing pack.
Yeah.
I just really like the idea of that Atlas trainer pack.
Yeah. It's a sweet rig. It's awesome.
Yeah, and like one thing that I really did last summer and the summer before is Stairmaster
Yeah.
or a treadmill.
Yeah.
Probably the treadmill more than the Stairmaster because Stairmasters feel like they're just, you know, come from the depths of hell.
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously.
They're the best and the most horrible machine ever.
Yeah.
Like whoever invented that thing is just like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. What's this?
I invented the Stairmaster. It's here to torture you.
It's awful.
Yeah, it
it's
is.
the worst machine ever.
Yeah.
So Stairmasters and me don't get along. I just end up punching it or something, and then I get in trouble. No, I don't punch it, but one thing that we were doing is we got a membership for a couple months, in the spring and summer. I wasn't going there to like lift a bunch of weights, but what I was going there for is they had a Stairmaster and they had treadmills.
Yeah.
Well, I would scope out the treadmills and find a treadmill that would do as much of an incline as I could get it to go.
Yeah.
And then what I did is I would go up 5% on the incline, or no, I'm sorry, 2% on the incline every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
2% up, 2% up, 2% up, 2% up. And I would go all the way to the top of the incline and then all the way back down with my weighted Atlas pack on. 2% every 5 minutes, 2% every 5 minutes, and go all the way up and all the way back down. Well, the nice thing is if you're going to a weight room, you don't need to bring your plate. You just bring the pack.
Yeah.
The nice thing about the pack is it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
You just carry it in. I mean, we got a couple funny looks, but I don't care.
Yeah.
So that's what we were doing. Just put your normal gear on and put that pack on and just every 5 minutes, 2% up, 2% up, 2% up. And obviously my big thing with that is, aerobic, keep my heart rate down so I could still kind of have a conversation or I wasn't absolutely like falling off the back of it and dinking my head on the ground.
Yeah.
But still moving.
Yeah.
So you're having to slow the speed down a bit when you get up to 18, 20% incline. Like like it looks funny because everybody's like, what is this guy doing? You're sitting there, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it's the best way that we can create a hill.
Yeah.
I mean, Northern Iowa, our biggest hill is an overpass. We just have a heck of a time. You can't find a hill.
Yeah.
Walk up and down the side of a ditch, I guess. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah. And you even did it. You were doing it for a while. Like I said, same thing. Yeah. Just putting the pack on. And it's just such a different feel.
It is. It's crazy.
It really is.
It kills you, really.
It's funny though, too, because I just was like, again, the Stairmaster, that I feel like I'm not leveled up for that yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the treadmill thing was really kind of my ticket. And I didn't think anything of it. So then, of course, I'm like, well, I'm going to get my sweat on too, right? So I put on sweatpants and a sweatshirt. I look like I'm a wrestler in there, you know what I mean? But it's funny because people would walk up.
And they'd ask.
Oh, yeah. They'd ask, like, hey, man, where did you get that? Like, where did you get that pack from? Like, did you do that yourself? Did you rig that up? Or guys that you could tell that were super fit and were working outside, be like, hey, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, keep it up, Yeah.
So
that's cool. You know what I mean? That's nice that people are nice. But so that's something to try too, that I really like about that pack.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's other things that you can do with it too. And so we'll get into the next part. One thing that I started doing this year is a program called Mountain Tough. Like I said, I'm not a big gym guy. The problem is I feel like I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I just don't know what to do. I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
I also don't really or can't justify paying a personal trainer or even know where to start with that.
Yeah, exactly.
So the awesome thing about that Mountain Tough, you pay for the subscription, you get access to their entire encyclopedia library of workouts.
Yeah.
They've got coached workouts, they have self-guided workouts. There's videos that will walk you through step by step. You can really figure out where you're at in your fitness journey.
Yep.
I started really with just the base initial body weight workouts that you do a few times a week. And like the videos that I was watching was a gal that was like walking you through it. And some of them it's guys walking you through it. It was really, really cool.
Yeah.
I really like it. And you get deeper into those programs and then you can use weighted packs. There's all sorts of things that you think, I would just use a weighted pack, just walk on a treadmill. But no, you can anything, put a chair, if you got high ceilings or anything, take it out in your yard and step up and down on it with your pack on.
Exactly.
There's so many things that you can do that can help you get ready for that.
Yeah, for sure.
And like I said, I've really enjoyed that Mountain Tough, their whole thing. And it's an app to try to, you just download it, try it on your phone. It was actually kind of cool. I went to the Sheep Show this year and they did a really awesome thing where they did a Mountain Tough workout at the show.
Yeah.
And if you did the workout, then you got an entry into a doll sheep hunt that they were giving away.
Yeah.
Well, there's only so many people doing the workout. It was like, I think 500, 250 on the competition side and 250 on the just doing it just to do it.
Yeah.
And so my buddy Ben and we signed up. And part of the reason I went there was I was like, well, hey, dude, that's pretty good odds, a chance to win a sheep hunt.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be in the room. Somebody's going to win. Like, golly, for what it costs to enter, like, this is worth it.
Yeah.
Well, the cooler thing, too, is they gave you, like, this whole swag deal.
Oh, yeah.
got this cool water bottle. Like there's a bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I'm like, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Got a cool t-shirt. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
And you want to talk about like, they were really friendly, but they just ripped you apart. It was hard.
Oh yeah.
It was hard, dude.
Yeah.
Well, of course, they had these different weighted, they had these bags, these big bags that you put in your pack. So I just borrowed one of Ben's packs. I was like, hey, can I just borrow your pack? Because I don't have to travel with mine. Like,
Yeah.
You just have an extra one. He's like, yeah. So there was like the competition category had to use like, I don't even know, maybe let's say it was like a 40-pound bag. Well, the other category, the non-competition competitive group, had to use like a 30-pound bag.
Oh.
Well, everybody had already grabbed the 30-pound bags. So you could see there was all these people waiting for a 30-pound bag, and there's a 40-pound bag sitting there. Well, there was a guy sitting there, like, and I walked up and I was like, which bag am I supposed to have? He was like, well, you're in the non-competitive? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, you're supposed to have a 30-pound bag. I was like, oh, well, there's none there. And I kind of looked at him. He's like, you can put a 40-pound in there. He goes, just put a 40 in there. I'm like, okay. So, you're spitting vinegar at that point. You're like, yeah, let's do that. That sounds like a good idea. Bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bad idea. Jeez. So I walk over to Ben with this 40-pound bag. I'm like, hey, here's your bag. And he was like, that was going to be a 30-pound bag. I'm like, yeah, we're going to do 40. And so, but it was fun.
Oh yeah, I bet.
And like you said, all the same type of exercises and everything are right through their app. It's really, really neat.
Yeah.
And like you said, you can progress through it to the point where, I mean, you're a lean meat and fight machine.
Oh yeah.
There was actually a guy up in Alaska last year that did it all through the spring and summer, and he was into it.
Yeah.
And dude, he was in great shape.
Yeah.
I think that for the both of us, and whether it's just like running or using a weighted pack or doing like these mountain tough workouts or just getting up in the morning and going out and walking one day and running the next and just physically and mentally going, okay, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
One of the things that I feel like all of this translates when it really comes to the hunting season for me is your legs and your lungs.
Yeah. Yeah. For
You know what I'm
sure.
saying?
Yep.
Yep. And for me, what I notice is that, initially it's my lungs that wear out. But once my lungs start to feel good, it's my legs that gets tired.
Yeah.
It's my legs that give out.
Yep.
You follow me?
Yep.
And when you're out there and you're doing a hunting trip and you're doing whatever that may be, and if you're sticking in that more of that aerobic exercise, you can breathe in and out all day long. We're breathing in and out right now.
Yeah.
But your legs get tired.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And these types of things, you got to get your leg strength up.
Yeah.
Because if you can't walk, you're not going to get there.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
if you can't get there, guess what you're going to do? You're going to give up.
Yeah. No doubt.
I don't know. That's what I've watched and I've seen from guys. That's my experience. What I've seen guys happen. They get tired and then they give up.
Right. Right.
And then you find an excuse to quit.
Yeah. Exactly.
So. But yeah, I really like the mountain tough stuff, and they were actually really cool too. I called them, and I did my research like we all do.
Yeah.
Like, is this for me? So I called and I just talked to the people.
Yeah.
Hey, like, how does this work? And they were super cool. Answered all my questions. Like, I ran into a couple of the people that I talked to on the phone at the sheep show. And the guy that owns it, he's just like, doesn't have a dad bod. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he just looks like, he's super fit.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, wow, dude, that's awesome. And so they really, practice what they preach. They're not messing around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, pretty cool thing. So, and I'm not usually the guy that likes to be involved in stuff like that.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Definitely.
I don't know. I just, like I said, I'd rather just like go out and run and not tell anybody about it.
Yeah, exactly. Keep to yourself.
Yeah. We're sitting here talking about today.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I really like that mountain tough stuff. I know I'm really gushing on it, kind of like we were on the mountain up stuff or the Garmin watch.
Yeah.
But this is just the stuff that we really believe in.
Yeah. For
There's
sure.
lots of stuff to do. And I'm gonna mention him without asking him. I don't think he'll care. Look at Buddy.
Yeah.
Buddy's the president of Ozonics.
No doubt.
Buddy is super fit.
He gets after it.
Yeah.
Super disciplined on the food side too.
Yes.
Nutrition.
And you know what? Like when I first met him at Ozonics, I've been at Ozonics, it'll be 9 years, August 15th.
Mm-hmm.
He was getting fit then, but he wasn't near as fit as he is now.
Yeah.
He is fit.
Yeah. Definitely.
He is fit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he would be the guy to come on here and he would talk about this on an entirely another level.
For sure.
Like we would just be sitting here listening.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
He is really into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Super into it. And that's awesome. Like I said, everybody's got
great.
everybody's got their hobbies and what they're into. Like I said, but he's really taken it for himself just to a whole nother level.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what I think is cool about what when he's doing it. I think he just does it for himself. Just because he wants to do it for no reason other than it's a good thing to be physically in shape.
Yeah.
So we can all be here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
This is kind of random, but on subject, off subject. I was at a wedding this weekend, and the father of the groom and the father of the bride get up and speak, and the father of the groom got up and spoke, and he made a comment in there that he said, something happened when he was younger that physically, and he was worried about maybe he was going to die or something happened, and he said that he made a comment. He goes, I just hope that I can be here when.
Mm-hmm.
Be here when my kids get married. Be here when, I have a chance to go on this hunt. Be here when this happens, this accomplishment, this date, this wedding, this type of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's the great thing about being physically fit and keeping yourself so we don't all turn into couch potatoes.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can be here when that hunt of a lifetime and that tag that you draw gets drawn.
Yeah.
You can be here when, your kids want to start doing stuff or whatever that may be.
Yeah.
You can be here when you want to go out and go for a run. You can be here when all of a sudden that elk's over that hill and you need to huff it to the top. Now
kidding. Yeah.
you can get after it and not completely, crap the bed.
Yeah. No kidding.
So 100%. I think there's a lot of truth in just doing it for that reason. I feel like that's why Buddy does it.
Yeah, for sure.
Just wants to be here when he's got grandkids, he's got family.
Yep.
Wants to be here when he has a chance to do those things with them.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's for you too, because like I said, I know we don't mean to talk so much. I honestly, before this podcast, I didn't think we were going to talk about diabetes at all.
Yeah.
But I think part of what you're trying to do is because you put yourself at an inherent disadvantage right off the bat being diabetic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you looked at it statistically, your chances of making it to 90 years old aren't real good.
No, they're not. Statistically, no.
Like if you looked at the demographics
Yeah.
of that whole thing, like being a diabetic feels like it just shaves off a whole lot right off the top.
For sure. 100%.
Doesn't mean that that's going to be what's going to happen.
No,
I don't think that's going to happen. I think you're going to outlive me for sure.
Hopefully.
What? No, I'm just kidding. No, but I think what you're trying to do is keep yourself good so that you can do it when.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because, I think diabetes for sure is a slippery slope where if you let it take over your body and, diabetes run you instead of you running diabetes, I think it can affect you a lot, especially long term. And I'm not the best diabetic in the entire world, but it's freaking really hard, man. It's super hard, and I don't think anybody understands it unless if you have it. But I'm at the point now where I haven't had it for too long, and I feel like I can get ahead of it and, get it good, get it better, be better at it for sure. So
I think the other thing that happens, I think I've done this, is I think that we all, at a certain age, lean on the fact that we can get away with it because of our age.
yeah. Oh, for sure.
And
No
I think
doubt.
that's what I've done.
Yeah.
I think I've leaned on the fact that when I was in my 20s, even into my mid 30s, I leaned on the fact that I could just physically be like, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I could just get out there and do it. But time wins.
Yeah.
And time keeps marching on.
Yeah.
And we get older and then things start to change.
Yeah.
I look at my father-in-law. He's one of the most physically fit
my
guys I
gosh,
know.
yes.
He's like 60 something.
You wouldn't guess that.
If you saw him and I guess how old he was, you wouldn't believe that in a heartbeat. He is. And he still get a hold of you. He ain't getting loose.
Yeah.
But he is fit.
Yeah.
But he can't do what he used to do.
Right.
I mean, he'd be mad of hearing me say that, but he can.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just the way that it is.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of us kind of lean on the fact like, oh, well, I can just get away with it. But eventually it starts to catch up with you. It's catching up with me. where I just need to be a bit more aware, and I've got to, like I say, you don't want to let yourself go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, like you said, it's good just to stay on top of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And I really like that. I saw that saying. I think everybody's probably seen it on Instagram at some point now, but because it seems like a lot of these sayings are out there, but nothing changes unless something changes.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yep.
You know, and you just have to try to make that change. And it doesn't, and like you said, you know, maybe you're golden, you know what I mean? But I feel like June's a good time of year just to kind of be thinking about that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Especially for like an avid outdoorsman, avid hunter, I guess. You know, this is the biggest gap of the year where there's no seasons in.
Yes.
You know, you kind of go right from deer hunting. For us, we go into show season.
Yep.
And then right into turkey season.
Yep.
And now
It's a little bit of a reset.
A little bit of a reset. So I feel like right now for us specifically, it's a good time to kind of get after it for a little while.
Exactly. And it's to your point, you're not getting up at the crack of dawn to get out there and staying. You're not staying out super late,
Yeah.
coming home really late.
Yeah.
You know, you can get out there and do some of that stuff and try to, you know,
Yeah.
physically get yourself back to where you need to be.
Yeah.
Mentally keep always preparing yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
You know.
Yep.
So
Yep. No, I think this was a really good conversation because, like we said at the beginning, you know, we're not super athletes,
no.
but
No.
we're just normal, real dudes. And I think there's a good majority of people listening to this are normal, real dudes too,
Yeah.
in the same boat as us. So,
Well, and I think the other thing too is like we've said this, I feel like a million times. Nick and I are cut from the same cloth in the fact that I don't care what people think.
yeah.
I don't need to do anything to get any sort of affirmation. We talk about this stuff here because we have a podcast, right? And we enjoy talking
Yeah.
about anything, ozonics, hunting, and everything in between.
Yep.
This is the everything in between.
Yep, exactly.
So, but like, you know, we're not doing this to try to get clicks and likes and blah, 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 blah. We don't need any of that, you know, and we're not like you said, we're not physical specimens.
Yeah.
I feel like the thing to do is to do it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And I feel like we are trying to do it for the right
for
reasons.
sure.
Like when it comes to just getting in better shape, like it's just good for you.
Yeah,
I don't need to post it or talk about it. And that's, I think, part of the reason we kind of haven't had this conversation in the past, you know, but again, hopefully this will maybe motivate somebody else, just something different to maybe think about,
No doubt.
you know, and something that you may do. And that's the kind of the whole idea. We're not trying to, if it's come up as boastful, that wasn't the idea at all.
Yeah, no.
Just, this is kind of what I've done, what's worked for me, what also hasn't worked for me, you know?
Yep.
And I know some of the things that I need to try to change,
Right.
you know?
Right.
So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, man.
There you go.
There you go.
Moral of the story, get out there, get after it.
Do something.
Ozonics, do something.
Coin that.
Put that on a bumper sticker.
Yeah.
Ozonics, do something.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Does it sound better if I do it in the Dracula voice?
Ozonics, do something.
What about the high voice?
Ozonics, do something.
Way better in the Dracula voice.
Yeah, Dracula voice is the way to go all the time.
Yeah.
Nick hates the high voice. All right. Another podcast in the books. Ozonics Killerwinds podcast. Over and out. Thanks for listening. Get out there. Do something physical. Get after it.
See you next week.
Do something. Stay classy.